I'm here at the broadcast. It even says live and everything.
Yeah, hey, what up? This is Babylonian Hebrew Live. We're talking about the pagans.
The
Talking,
pagan questions, the PQ, bro.
Talking about the heretics.
talking
It's
about
the
the
PQ.
heretics.
Oh, it's the HQ as well, the heretic question.
The pagans. Yeah, Travis. What is Travis doing? Where is he? This is the ultimate question. Hold on. This is the final.
I can't believe that Travis says that like Christianity is not European. That amazes me.
Well, but he's looking at it from a purely historical context. He's looking at it just from
I know
Genesis.
he's saying like the origin is in the Middle East, and therefore like that colors the whole experience of Christianity.
Yeah, no, I understand what
That's
he's saying.
retarded. Like,
Yeah, I get what he's saying, but he's going the purist angle. That's what he's going for. He wants something that's indigenous to Europe.
dude, even if you were to say like, okay, let's go with paganism, Europe, like, I'm sure that they formed their ideas from some earlier archetypical structure that wasn't
Yeah.
from Europe.
Well, yeah,
How
this is
like Europeans just literally came up with everything. To be
yeah. Honest, this is why I like the Luciferian motif because it seems to be something that you can find in multiple religions and mythological sets. So I
you're
like it.
just using big brain words to say perennialism. Basically, you believe in perennialism.
Yeah, fair enough. No, I'll take it. That's a fair accusation.
Oh, so I
I
just
was
want to
just
make this point.
I was just thinking, and I think that we were arguing like the entire time. I think we were arguing about the historicity of paganism, like against Christianity.
I
You know
was
what I
just
mean?
I was
Like,
arguing about the authenticity of the Europeanness of Christianity. You're saying like it's just not a European religion. Like,
yeah.
I just disagree. Like, we'll have to leave it at that, I guess.
I mean, obviously it is because there's Europeans that are Christians. So I mean, that kind of would kill
Yeah,
that
but I'm
argument.
saying like the character of like.
Travis, you have some questions.
What's up? Sorry. Oh crap! Did it freeze? Hello.
Well, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, full on.
Oh, somebody was saying so. I think the blue lizard was saying something to me.
Yeah, Leov Mishkin in the chat was asking why Tacitus, a nominal pagan, was making up lies about his pagan brethren.
I don't know actually. I don't know about that.
Because he said
Yeah.
he encountered
Was he a Roman?
pederasty in pagan culture and wrote historical accounts of his travel and the people he encountered, and he said that practical paganism, like practical atheism, is a brutal, nasty way of life, and that we're living in the setting sun of Christianity in the West. And then someone said something about pagan human sacrifice, like that it happened.
Yeah. I think that nihilism has creeped into paganism, and people have morphed it like into Wiccan and all this like American Hollywood crap. It really has nothing to do with ancient Nordic, Germanic paganism. Even like even Roman paganism, which was very multicultural, really, to be honest, in Greek. It really was. It was very accepting of different gods, but the Nordics and the Germanics weren't. But I would these religions are very, very, very different than these like Wiccan or like I don't know, what do you call it, Satanism, all this crap that you see after the satanic panic of the 1980s. It's just bull crap. It has nothing to do with paganism of Europe. So I would just say that. I don't know. Does that answer his question?
Questions being rephrased in this chat. Can you guys read the chat box? I'll link the chat box. But he says, ask Travdog why Tacitus the pagan was making up lies about his pan-pagan allies.
I don't know who that is. I'm sorry.
He said he claimed the Druids performed human sacrifice.
Maybe. I wouldn't. I mean,
Would you perform
You have to agree with evolution.
sacrifice if you're in a
People have
pagan
evolved over
ritual?
the years, and people have done nasty things in the past. 6,000 years ago, yeah, maybe people did human sacrifices. I'm not saying we need to bring that back. Is that what he said?
Let's agree on something though, Travis.
Yeah.
We both agree that spirituality is really important,
Yeah, absolutely.
and that a secular, not necessarily a secular government, but a secular worldview can be damaging to individuals because it leaves them with nihilism, as you said.
Yeah, a secular worldview, yes, can, but a secular government, no.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. So I guess we can agree on that.
Yeah, because the law needs to remain objective outside of spirituality, in my opinion.
Yep. All right. Glad that we got that solved.
Yeah, there's a peculiar point that springs to mind, which is that one of the issues with religion in general is that it ought, in my opinion, I do take the Joseph Campbell view of this, which is that I do think that religion ought to be sort of a filter through which one interprets world or reality. And Christianity offers some filters because there's an orthodoxy, there's a complete tradition around it. As where with paganism, I don't find those filters to be useful as of this moment. It's kind of a hodgepodge. It's just difficult to use paganism as a model for interpreting world and for interacting with world. Coming back again to Luciferianism, it's a convenient model, and that's why I rely on it. But only because I find it to be useful. That's literally the only reason that I like it.
Well, nothing in. Sorry.
Oh no, I was basically done. I was going to wrap up with some bullshit conclusory sentence, but I'm done.
Are you sure?
Oh, I'm fine now. Carry on.
Okay. No, I was going to say nothing in life comes easy. I mean, you said that you find a difficulty in these pagan traditions because they're not very objective. They're not direct. It's not very, and I agree with you. It's not very easy to find a like written down direction of what paganism means in a book. I mean, you have the Elder Eddas, you have the Norse Eddas, and everything like that. But from what I understand is what you're saying is that Christianity gives you a more straight guideline of morality in the world than paganism. Am I wrong about that?
That's very close to it. Yes.
Okay. And I would actually agree. I would agree with you on that. However, I would say that I believe that we can find objective morality based upon our own objective or subjective experiences. I know it's a very atheistic view of the world, but it kind of is true if you really think about it. And you could still have spirituality based upon that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Could you repeat the sentence? Every time I hear objective, subjective, I always go to the ob-sub divide, and I hate the divide, but go on.
I was just saying that you can have. You were saying that you can when it comes to Christianity in the Bible,
yeah, it
gives you kind of like this moral guide, and I would agree with you. It does. It gives you this very straightforward moral guide, like don't do this, do this. However, when it comes to paganism, it's very, very obscure. There's no kind of like written down thing that says, yeah, there's no orthodox, except for maybe the Elder Eddas and the Norse Eddas. And even those, when you read them, unless you read them in if you read them in the Nordic language, unless you read them in the Nordic language, it's a very, very obscure. But I would say that you can still have an objective morality based on your subjective view of the world.
I disagree.
Well, I mean, I think most people agree that murder is wrong. You know what I mean? And I don't think that most people base that upon Christian doctrine. I think that most people agree that rape is wrong. And I don't think that most people agree that that's based upon Quran doctrine. I think that most people agree that stealing is wrong. And I don't think that most people agree that that's based upon Torah doctrine. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think it's
wrong.
based upon social constructs of people cohesively working together for a better.
Yeah, but you're coming at it from. No offense when I say this, but I'm just saying you seem to be coming at this from like the high trust European standpoint. You're not coming at this.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, that's true. But that's what I mean. I mean, I'm trying to bring back the European heritage.
Yeah.
Paganism is blood and soil.
Yeah, let me stress, my heart is actually with you. I'm with you on this one. And I find it frustrating that even though, I would also prefer, just for my own sake, for my own purposes, I would prefer something a little more deep than Christianity in terms of time scale. Again, time scale. Luciferian is ancient. It predates Christianity, and that's one of the reasons why I like it. So it's something that's a little more concrete than paganism, and it predates Christianity. It's closer to something that would be, yes, perennial. And that's kind of why I favor it. But I
don't know much about that, actually.
Don't know much about what?
I don't know much about the Luciferian ideology other than that. I know about Lucifer being.
It's just a model. It's just a model. That's
a
really
model.
Can I say something?
I know about Lucifer being the enlightened one and all that stuff, but
just a model. That's all.
I don't know about the ideology of Lucifer.
Like when it comes to us, we all want to find truth, right? So we look in all these obscure areas because we think like the mainstream Christianity that's been fed to us is bullshit. And I agree that the mainstream Christianity that's been fed to us is bullshit, but you have to like what I'm doing is trying to rediscover it, and I'm rediscovering it in a way that makes sense to me. If you get what I'm saying.
Have you listened to? I know a lot of people don't like Jordan Peterson because he's very like the individual. I mean,
I used to like
that's become a meme, but I actually listen. I like the way Jordan Peterson comes at Christianity. He looks at it like this. I can't remember. It's like he looks at all these different figures as like head figures.
He calls them archetypes.
Archetypes. Yeah,
like,
I'm sorry. I couldn't.
The thing is that like
the word was escaping me.
Dude, like I think Jordan Peterson, like I originally thought he was a cool guy and stuff, but then I looked into his
find that very interesting.
I looked into his background and I found out like some weird stuff about him, so I don't know if I like him anymore, but like I think he tends to be kind of reductionist with Christianity. Like he says it's all about evolution. Like to me it's not all about simply reducing religion to evolution. Like we're trying to discover spirituality here.
Well, maybe he's trying to reach normies though, man. You know what I mean?
Well, that's also true, but like, I think you can reach normal people without being like a materialist, enlightenment person.
If you don't mind my cutting in, I just have to get this out there. He also has a crazy view of truth. His model of truth is basically pragmatic truth theory, and pragmatic truth theory is anti-science. It's actually anti-science. And I don't like that. The model of truth theory that scientists use is correspondence theory. And in a nutshell, it's any statement of reality must correspond to a fact. That's pretty much the scientific method in a nutshell. You're trying to figure out what the hell is going on in reality, and you're trying to describe it. And you just try to modify your descriptions, in time, so that you refine the descriptions so that they're better, and that requires experimentation and analysis.
Why do you think that he's trying to use Christianity as that model based upon that thought process?
It's pragmatism.
I don't agree. I don't agree. I don't agree with Jordan Peterson. I was just curious to hear.
No, it's fine. None of this is directed. None of this is directed at you. I used to be a Jordan Peterson fan as well, so it's fine. We're all among friends here. I mean, not that I know you guys personally in any sense, but I kind of get where you're coming from. So no, there's no attack. Anyway, the the impression that I get from Jordan Peterson is that he recognizes that there is decay in Western civilization, and he wishes to have some sort of a salve or a bandage, some sort of amelioration for the falling apartness of what he sees around him. And I think he thinks that Christianity is one way to go. He never affirms that he's a Christian. He never affirms the Christ as a god.
Can I interrupt?
Ichi, have you?
I would say that John thinks that way too. I mean, at least from what I'm seeing, like that's what I think, or from what I've experienced, I would say that I think that maybe you think that way too. Like we just need to fill a gap, and Christianity fills that gap.
Yeah,
Am I wrong?
I don't think it's about filling a gap. I think it's literally about like it's not even like a hole. It's like there's literally a black hole like sucking everything away.
Yeah,
and like, we need to fix it.
I do want to just because it was almost, and this is worth it. This is worth it. That ties into Jordan Peterson's pragmatic truth theory. His conception of truth is that truth is whatever is most useful in a situation. And that has pluses and minuses. That means that you can provisionally adopt a framework or worldview that has greater than 50% chance of being successful. The problem with that, of course, is that if you've got something that's only 60% successful, that's not that impressive. It'd be much better to get something that's closer to, say, 80 or 90 or even 95% successful. And this is, in my opinion, the inherent problem with pragmatic truth theory, is that it encourages you almost to become complacent with your interest in trying to refine your model, and I don't like that. This is why I don't like pragmatic truth theory. I think that he's looking at Christianity in those terms. I think that he sees the black hole that, John, you're talking about, and I think that he thinks that Christianity is exactly the correct size butt plug to throw it in.
Well, he doesn't even want to like use it in an actual way, though. He just he uses like a watered down version of like archetypes and shit like that. It's like,
yeah, I know.
If you're gonna go for it, just take the leap of faith, man. Just say it like Christ. Like,
he doesn't
even
believe
if you don't know if it's logically true, just take it.
John, dude, he's got to sell books, man. Come on.
What do you mean he has to sell books? It would be way more
I'm just
convincing,
kidding.
dude.
Being sarcastic.
If he was like, bro, if he started talking about Kierkegaard, like Kierkegaard, bucko, he talked about the leap of faith. Like, but instead he has to talk about fucking, like, he has to talk about Jungian archetypes. That's subversive.
I think that Jordan Peterson has his cons and he has his pros. And I'm not sure if his cons outweigh his pros. And that's kind of where I'm at.
I think, dude, I watched a video series that Vox Day put out, and I'm convinced that Jordan Peterson is against us. Like, he made some really valid points. If you guys want to look that up in the chat, Vox Day, I think, if you just look back on his channel like a few days ago, he made some like responses to Jordan Peterson. He basically said like Jordan Peterson worked for the UN in some global sustainability initiative, and like if you start looking into his background, it's kind of like screwy, and it's like he's preaching about Christianity is actually about like evolution and Jungian archetypes, and therefore like people are less likely to actually come back and believe it because they'll just think like, oh, it's just something that is Jungian archetype. I'll just like read Jung or whatever. So I think he's subversive, man. He's trying to secularize Christianity and then make it work somehow.
I actually agree with that.
That might very well be true. I
Well, I can't read that guy's name. Russian guy said Lyov Mishkin. Because I couldn't really even believe what Vox. I couldn't really even understand what Vox was complaining about, other than saying he was nuts. The UN stuff is relevant, but Vox just came off as a douche. Well, Vox always comes off as a douche, but he was basically complaining that psychoanalysis is bullshit, and he's saying like Jordan Peterson uses psychoanalysis to interpret the Bible, and he's saying like, oh, like Jordan Peterson like will make like bullshit up out of his like dreams or whatever. And there's like no proof that that stuff is actually real when you look into the science of it. Similar to what K-Mac would say.
Who's K-Mac?
Kevin MacDonald.
I'm not familiar with him. Oh, Culture of Critique?
Yeah.
Okay.
Says, like he
I haven't
argues
read that yet,
like
actually.
psychoanalysis is like, yeah, blah, yada yada yada.
Yeah. I was actually planning on reading that. You can get the PDF online actually for free. Not to be a goy or a whatever.
Yeah, all I was saying
Yeah.
is I think psychoanalysis is bullshit. Like I just said like I'm trying to relate him to another person people might know.
I don't know. I don't know anything about Kevin, but I know that I really liked Jordan Peterson. Maybe pre 2017, or maybe pre 2016 when Trump was coming up, and you have all these SJWs and all this. There was this big cultural shift going on, and the only person saying anything was Jordan Peterson, and he was really saying it really strongly and very coherently, and people were really listening to him, and that was a very good thing. It wasn't. I don't think it was about till late 2017 I started questioning Jordan Peterson. I started thinking like, I think I lionized him a little bit too much, and I think a lot of people did. I think it's kind of a shame, because I think a lot of people lionized him and they looked up to him as this very intelligent figure that can speak about these very deep issues within our culture, and he kind of just let us down. I don't know.
Well, dude, he is a half measure, and he's not even like a half measure in the right direction. Like you have to remember, he's a classical liberal. Like
Yeah.
He ultimately, at the end of the day, he doesn't give a fuck about like indigenous Europeans or European culture. He just cares about individualism, and anything that he can do to promote that, he is all for.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I would say that he cares more about himself.
That's true.
He's very. I mean, when if you notice, like in his debates and everything, he's very particular with the way he speaks. He's very careful, and pre like 2017, I always looked at that as a very. I was like, wow, this guy's really thinking what he's going to say. I looked at it as a good thing, he's kind of taking his time. He's thinking. He's not just. But now that I think about it, he's stepping on eggshells. He doesn't want to.
He doesn't
want to talk about the JQ or whatever. He's just
he'll take the most politically correct stance he can.
Yeah, there you go. That's the perfect way to put it. He'll take the most politically correct stance.
Like, if he was honest about it, he would talk about it like we do on this channel, right? But like, which is like a multitude of perspectives. But I mean, he doesn't confront things honestly.
He's politically correct when it's convenient for him.
he doesn't stick up for people who need to
Or,
be
I mean,
stuck up
he's
for. Like
not. Yeah.
white Canadians need to be. I think Babs dropped.
Oh no. Babs fell asleep.
Wait, the guy who's streaming dropped? What? Wait.
I think he was a Jordan Peterson fan.
Oh no.
What was I saying?
I'm just kidding.
Like, I can't even remember now. Damn it.
Well, it is like 2 a.m. my time. I don't know where you guys are, but it's
2 a.m.
Closing thoughts, guys.
Closing thoughts. I think that good talk. Christianity should remain in the West, and I encourage people to look into paganism.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Ichi.
Yeah, I want the West to not die, and I just whatever movement springs along that actually doesn't look like a goddamn cult, I'm pretty much done with. And at the moment, I'm putting my chips into. I'm provisionally putting my chips into Christianity because it just seems reasonable. But at the end of the day, it's sort of funny that even I myself say, "Oh God, choices, decisions." What are you gonna do?
I guess I will say, Travis, it's been a great discussion. I'm sorry if I got a little bit heated at times, but it happens. It happens when you're streaming in blood sports, semi-blood sports.
Yeah, that's when you know you're having a good conversation. It gets heated.
Yeah. I wanted to say about the things I was saying earlier, like just to overall rehash everything. Like Christianity is cool. Like just look into it. Don't think that it's lame. Like try and learn about it and resurrect the institutions. Support the indigenous rights of all people. Love your people. Love everybody. And this is about love. This is not about hate. So
it'd be cool if they had a Catholic church, but it was they turned it into pagan, and then they had goat heads on the. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
but I love Catholic churches. They're very pretty. So.
Aside from religion and everything, like this is a movement of radical love and inclusion. Like we are here to have a dialogue with people and like truly find common ground and make things progress forward. And that's what I have to say, I guess. So we should get off now. I'll see you guys later.
Cheers, buddy.
All right, take care, man.